Hi everybody. So, whenever I do a dual vlog, or something that you see me in like a third person as it were, so you see me on the bike, people are always like, my god, that bike's so small. And it always surprises me. Well, it doesn't surprise me, but you know. It's not that the bike is small. This bike is the same height, well, it's 1 inch shorter than a DRZ. It is a full-size bike. I've even had people try and argue that fact with me, and like, oh, well, no, you know, a WR125X is in fact a full-size bike, yours a 3/4 size. No, this is taller than a WR125X. What the fuck is this driver doing? Why is he all over the place? He's on that side of the road. Jesus, have you been drinking? Anyway, I'll keep going. Yeah, it's not that the bike is small, because you need to be at least 5'10", I would say, or 5'8", to ride this bike. Now, the average UK height is 5'10". I am 6'5", well, 6'4", 6'5", around there. I'm a tall motherfucker, and this world is not made for people as tall as me. Now, there is a reason for that, and it's obvious, is that the average height is 5'10", not my height. But these days, 6 foot to 6'6", you know, it isn't that uncommon. It is, in the sense that I think is less than 1% of the UK population is over 6'4". But there's still a lot of us, you know. And it causes an awful lot of trouble in day-to-day life, whether it be choosing a motorcycle, because, I mean, I've tried sitting on so many different sports bikes, and all of them I'm just like, fuck, I need an extra knee in my shin to sit on this thing comfortably and get my feet into the rear sets. Was that for sale? I've got to go and have a look if that was for sale. What are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? You fucking melon. Look at you, you big old fruit. Okay, no price tag. Maybe it's not for sale. You see that? That is not a full-size bike. It's like people have said to me, what do you think of the Grom? And I'm like, well, you know, it's quite a cool little bike and all that, but if I was to ride one, I'd lose it up my arse crack. Oh, look at all the chemtrails. I can smell all the fluoride in the air. Oh, we're gonna die. You know, it's fucking contrails. Don't be so stupid. That's gonna piss a lot of people off. No, I'm sorry. I really don't believe in the chemtrail theory. Why am I talking about chemtrails now? Anyway, as I was saying, yeah. So choosing a motorcycle when you're very tall is a problem. Clothes, massive issue. There are companies out there that make clothes for taller and fatter people these days. Or oversized people. It's nice to be known that you're oversized. I bet no one lets this guy out. No. See, I'm a nice guy. Go on, man. Go on. Go on. Faster would have been more appreciated, as you know, it wasn't a narrow driveway. But never, go on. Anyway, where was I? Yes, clothes. Yeah, so this company doesn't make clothes these days. But when I was younger, I used to have to go to a store called High and Mighty. And high and mighty, what a night, I think I'm high and mighty, but it actually means it's high, tall and fat. Fuck me, I've seen some like 7XL clothes in that place and it's just like, okay, I take it that's a jumper or a sail for a ship. In fact, in that store I saw the largest shoe I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, shoe, they only have one on display, took up too much space. I have size 14 feet, so buying bike boots is a big issue. Because most companies stop at 12 in all shoes. In fact, when I go to buy shoes, I walk in the shop and say, hello, do you sell shoes over size 12? And most of them just go, no. And I'm just like, well, okay, I'll leave then. Yeah, the shoe I saw in this store, it was like a basketball tennis type shoe, you know. And it was size 23. It was a canoe. It truly was a canoe. People call my shoes canoes. But no, that was a canoe. My God. That was an Atlantic rowing canoe. So yeah, bikes, clothing, beds. I have one of the biggest beds I think you can get in this country that's still within relatively standard-ish sizes. It's bigger than a queen size. It's huge. Yet still, I cannot if I put my head against the wall, my feet hang off the end. It's impossible for me to lay out flat. Well, I have to go on a diagonal, which is fine. Apart from when Mrs. Spice is like, you're pinning me in the corner. I'm sorry. Sorry. Look, it's a kestrel. Hover, little bird. Oh, it's another bus with oil pissing out the bottom of that one. Oh yeah, a few people said, oh no, with that quantity, that's not going to be oil, that's going to be diesel. Worked on a petrol station for 3 years. I know the smell of diesel. I know the smell of overused engine oil. That was engine oil without any doubt. It does interest me how people seem to think that they know the situation. I mean, I'm here. This is real life. Look, I can touch these things. Go on, you move that. You can't, can you? Because you're not here. No, trust me. Anyway, yeah, it was oil. It's still everywhere. So I roll. Bike clothing, that's another big issue. You see, I have a problem, which is when I go to get a bike jacket, and I'm sure there's lots of other people like me, because there's a few of my subscribers who are about the same height as me. I know this because they've said, I'm about this height, I have the same problems, I know the pain, blah, blah, blah. If I get a bike jacket, and then the shoulders are right, the waist, you know, for your gut, it's too flappy, too big. Then I get one that's right on the waist, shoulders too small. And apparently, I don't know if this is true, apparently I'm a German fit. Which is why my High and Garrick jacket, don't kill me, is great, because it fits me absolutely perfectly, and I'm going to get the zip fixed on that while I'm off with the op. So yeah, I'm going to get that jacket fixed, because it was such a rare find, to find a jacket that was perfect. As were my boots. I've got Icon Elthenor 1000 range boots, and they make them into my size. Admittedly, my size I think is the top of the range, like, you know, maximum, but yeah, they do them. It's awesome, because I love these boots. And houses, they're not designed for tall people. Door frame, standard size, 6'6", yeah? So when you're 6'5", about my height, you have to learn how to walk underneath doors. Otherwise you bang your head, because what you have to do is sort of step either side of the half of the door, you know, the line of the door. So as you do, you sort of go under it. If you don't do that, you end up just banging your head into the door frame. I've hit my head on so many door frames, light fittings. That's the thing, if you don't know a place that you're in, you have to really pay attention to your surroundings. If you know a place, you get to know it. I mean, maybe it's a bit like a blind person knows their surroundings if they get to know it long enough. But yeah, you have to know where you are. Like, there's, where I work, there's concrete pillars that are like roof supports. And if I don't pay attention, I could like walk into it with about 4 inches of it hitting my forehead. Like, not just like a chip on the head, I mean a full-on poof. So as you can see, being as tall as I am is a little bit of a nightmare. But shorter people say things to you like, I wish I was taller. And it's like, now, I can understand if you're below average height that you'd like to be taller. That makes sense. Well, if you wish to be. But to me, it doesn't make sense, actually. If you were as tall as I am, you'd want to be. You'd be like, yes, to be small is awesome. Because the world is a bigger place. Everything's bigger. Okay, no, for bikes it causes a real issue for you choosing what bikes you want. If you want a supermoto, well, practically forget it, or get some 70s platforms. But the world is much better for you. It's everything's big. You get a single-sized bed, you get a double bed, it's massive. Clothes, not an issue. Well, unless you know, child sizing can be a bit of a pain in the arse. But there we go. Alright, buddy. No. But what is interesting, and if you're tall, you'll know about this. You probably don't take it in an offensive way, and I don't. But it is true that you could see it this way. I mean, people could connive it around this way. You're in a supermarket, you're tall. Someone says to you, oh, would you grab that off the top shelf? You're really tall. And it's like, yeah, no worries, I'll do that for you, I'll help you out. The thing is, if a really short person was in there, and it's difficult for taller people to get right down to the ground unless you're on your hands and knees and get to the back shelf. You can't just bend over and reach back there. If I was to turn around to someone and say, my, you're fucking short, can you grab that off the bottom shelf for us? Do you think they're going to go, sure, no worries, they're going to tell me to fuck off? Because it's okay to say, my, aren't you tall, because it is seen as a good thing. Which, I mean, they say that taller people earn more money and get into higher positions in jobs. And I don't know if that's true or not. I can't say I've experienced it myself. But also, there's 2 types of tall. You have people who are tall, they sort of have the body frame of a shorter person, but they just get really tall, like their legs get really long. And there's other people like me that are more in proportion to their height, if you know what I mean. No, I don't mean... Well, actually, yeah, I do. you know, sort of leg size in that, because I've gone to buy shorts and found the waist size to be right, but the leg size to be far too thin. And I'm like, what is with this? Either you're a really fat person with ridiculously pencil thin legs, or, I don't know, it just doesn't work out. The ratio, I think they like scale it up and it just doesn't work. But of course, companies don't give a fuck about these sorts of things so much, because the average is what they're interested in, is the most important thing. So in short, forgive the pun, I am not riding a little bike. I am riding a normal sized bike, and I am just fucking massive. Look at this picture here, okay? This is me sitting on Ginger's Gladius, okay? The Gladius is not a huge bike. It is good for Ginger because he is a little shorter than me. But the bike itself is a chunky bike. Now actually look at that bike with me on it. I look fucking huge. I know you can modify foot pegs and stuff to make things fit better, and I'm sure there's some tall people who are watching this are like, I've had to do all of this myself. Or I'm riding a bike and I'm like this. Because, you know, we just are. And when I eventually do move up into bigger bikes, and it will happen, trust me, it's going to happen. It's just taking longer than I would have hoped. A lot longer. Yeah, it's alright, it's getting sorted out. When my claim gets through, it's getting towards its final stages. It may be a possibility, it may not, it depends. We'll see what happens, whatever. Anyway, I'm planning on getting something like a DRZ with a seat height only 1 inch taller, and it isn't massively longer, I don't think. It's going to be the same situation, basically. Apart from, instead of it being incredible that this 125 can get me and my 6'5", 6'4", and 18 stone up to 70 miles an hour, for a 125, that seems fucking incredible. I'll be on a 400, and I'll be able to do, what, 100 and 5. Otherwise, shit will be the same. So if you're short and you envy the longer legs, don't be so envious, because seriously, in some ways, it's a fucking curse. But there you go. I'll catch you next time. So basically, I followed it and it came up to a bus, and it was pissing oil out of the bottom of it.
Don't lose any time
and I
for
slapped
that
the guy in this week
here
when he's going to be,
there,
because he pulled over at that bus stop.
degradable.